Okay, so this is Beast Wars. There's 2 campaigns, there's Maximals and Predacons. I only know how to run the Predacon campaign, so that's the one that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be doing lots of safety saves to go over tech and stuff like that, because that's what's important. So you can start with either Desert or Urban. I personally prefer to start with Urban. Desert has a really hard trick in the second stage, in Desert 2. That you don't have to do, and you can basically the time save that you get from doing it is so small that you can choose not to do it. So I leave it till the end. But basically, we're going to be doing all of Urban first. Then that's going to unlock Polluted. We'll do all of Polluted. We'll do 2 stages of Volcanic, and then because you have to do all the other stages to get Volcanic, like to get Volcanic 3. Then it will take us back to Desert, and we'll do all of Desert, then Volcanic 3. That's the stage order. This is just because it doesn't involve any extra menuing, so you can mash X. And this is important because mashing X, if you mash fast enough, you actually get a slight frame-perfect time save. The mashing between stages is a thing. There's 4 characters you start with, but we're only going to be playing as Inferno. Inferno has the best jump height and really good health. So we'll be using him. Scorponok shares the jump height. So Scorponok is also good, but his health is lower and his damage output is worse. So Inferno is the better choice, absolutely. You'll see the characters are spinning as well. When you select the character, they will not actually get selected until they are back facing forwards. So what you want to do is select the character as close to him facing you as possible. The reason why the mashing thing works that I mentioned is if you can mash through the menus effectively, then you can select him before he moves at all, and then he will just immediately move on to the next loading screen instead of spinning first, basically. So it saves a tiny bit of time. Also, we're going to be holding Y at the start of pretty much every stage. There's a few notable exceptions. But Y allows you to buffer your transform input. Triangle. So it allows you to buffer your transform. So Beast Wars, 2 main mechanics in this game, Beast Mode and Robot Mode. So in Robot Mode, you can shoot. You are slower, your jump is lower, but you can shoot things. That's the main thing. You'll also notice that the purple bar is going down to the left. That is called Energon. Energon is a resource system to stop you from just being in Robot Mode all the time. When you're in Beast Mode, this doesn't drain. So you need to keep an eye on that in certain stages because it will drain very quickly sometimes. When you're in Beast Mode, you move a lot faster, but you can't shoot. Also, the game has tank controls. Another thing is that there's lag reduction. So there's times in this game where it will lag a lot. So you might see me, when I'm doing like an optimal run-through of a stage, point the camera straight down. This is to reduce lag. It doesn't always work here, but in theory, I could avoid lag like this. And I did avoid some lag, so that's cool. Right, so this is where we have our first divergence. So what I'm about to show you is a very difficult trick. The intended route is easy, but it's quite slow. So you can do the intended route instead, and it will be fine. But this is the faster way to do it, by far. On top of this, there's like another strat that you can do that's like in between, but it's super hard. It's slower and really difficult. I wouldn't recommend anyone does it, but Rathan has an IL with that one in from when he found it originally. So you jump up here, and then you get into this position. Then you shimmy over to the left a bit, and then jump on top of the electric barrier. And now I'm out of bounds, right? So there was a lot going on, but essentially you do a bit of platforming, you jump over that wall, you press L2 to strafe left just a little bit to get into a better position. You turn to face the barrier, and then you can jump on top of that electric barrier, turn around, and get on top of this wall. This skips a lot of stuff, okay? What you do then is you go around this way, and you head down there, right? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back, and I'm going to show you the intended route. So the intended route is there's a button down there. You press that. That opens the barrier. In fact, I'll come down and do it because I fell down, so it's whatever. But this will open that doorway that we just stood on. So when you're doing this trick, don't press the button because the door will disappear and you can't jump on it anymore. So the intended route comes through this way, and there's only a couple of things you can really do to speed it up. Not really too much to say. You run around this way. It's lagging a lot. I haven't learned lag reduction for this section because I don't ever do it anymore because I do the glitch. You can climb up on this wall just to cut this corner with your excellent jump height. And then we have to come around here and press another button. Here it is down here. There are certain stages where the intended route is actually more difficult than the skips, so I will be teaching you the skips and telling you to just not do the intended route. You head back this way now, and you can also do a small corner cut by jumping over this wall, and then jumping over this gap, and hopefully not dying. The game is lagging a lot right now. So now what we want to do is we want to get on top of this platform. You can just about make it as Inferno. Other characters don't have such a good time with that. I usually transform here just to turn around and kill these enemies, because you have no option to to do anything else. If you want to, you can spam transform because you get iframes when you're transforming, so that will avoid you taking damage if the enemies are aggroed on you. And now we jump across to here. It's lagging a lot right now. And you'll see up there, that wall is where I was stood earlier. So when I did that skip, it takes you all the way to here. So you can see how much time that saves. Right, next skip. This one isn't too bad. I would recommend trying this one in most runs because the alternative is very slow and it's not too difficult to try this. So this is called a corner jump. So in this game, if you jump and then hold forwards at a certain height, you are able to sneak on top of certain corners. This is one of them, and it's probably one of the easier ones. There we go. Up like that. Then you jump up here, jump straight up, go through the floor, and now we're out of bounds again. So you just hit the route I'm doing. You can also reduce lag here. This saves a significant amount of time because it's a very laggy section. Although I've loaded in all the enemies by playing it intended route, so that's a problem. Now there's another corner jump, and again, I recommend you learn this one. The alternative to this is incredibly slow. If you are worried, and just to demonstrate the trick, I will do this now. If you are ever worried that you're going to take too much damage in the process of trying something, you can transform and kill all the enemies before moving on. You can also shoot as fast as you can mash. So keep that in mind as well. I haven't done proper mashing in a while. So once you're in this position, you need to do another corner jump. So you just look over this way, jump and hold forwards to clear that edge. There we go. And now we're out of bounds. We're on an invisible wall, and dropping down here will end the stage. There we go. That was Night Attack. First stage down. I'm going to save a game here so that we can come back to this if we need to. Now, I will try and show you a quick select. So a quick select is when you mash through the menus fast enough. It's mainly the character select menu. So we'll see if we can get it. I did not get it. So you see that really slow spinning animation? That's what we were trying to avoid. My mashing is very out of practice, so I might be quite bad at it. So, for Night Attack, I'll show you how to do the corner clip versions, or the corner jump versions first. These corner jumps are slightly finicky. I find it helps to delay your forward press quite a while on these ones. Oh no, sorry. Do it sooner than you think. Sorry, not delay. It's another one that's delayed. This one you want to do it quite quickly. Also, in thing with corner jumps, you want to be in this standing position. If you're pushed up against the wall like this, it won't work. You need to be in this position, but as close to the wall as you can get. There we go. Cool. We can walk across this building. Once I'm done with this, in fact, I will do it now. So that's one way you can get out. I'll show you the intended route, because if you don't want to do those two corner jumps, then there is a slower way that you can get to the same position. I wouldn't recommend doing it, but it's easy enough if you're not happy with corner jumps. That was a quick select. There you go. So that's a frame perfect input. Just saves a tiny bit of time between load screens. So again, buffer, triangle to transform immediately. And what you do for the intended way to play this is you will go straight forwards. You see that barrier to the right? We're going to be coming back here late. In fact, I wonder if you can just skip this. I wonder if this is a thing you can do. No one ever tried this. No, you can't. Okay, it's too high. So you walk down here, and there's just a button you have to press. It's over this way. There's also a health pickup in there, so you can refresh your health if you're low. The downside of this, other than being slow, is that you aggro a ton of enemies onto you, which will cause a lot of lag for the game. Also, there's a if you hold down R1, you can do what's called a quick turn. So because it's tank controls, they gave you the ability to turn faster by holding R1 as you turn. And we're going to use this for a few tricks throughout the run. It allows you to do some pretty cool stuff. And just in terms of optimized movement, you'll see me doing it to be more optimal with my movements. In terms of optimized movement, you'll see me using it for optimized movement. But it's stuff like when you're on this corner, for example, you can turn around like much quicker like that. So this takes you to here, and when you're in this position, we are essentially where we would have come out after doing those corner jumps. So the corner jumps put you on the roof of this building to our right here, and you walk off the end of them and get to this ramp. So both routes will take you to this ramp. This is the important thing. Now, I like to lag reduce here, because it also makes this jump slightly easier. So you want to jump on top of this and try and... so I failed it there. It's really difficult. It's a very thin section in the middle that you can walk through. I would recommend doing this. Straight up, it seems really hard, but the alternative in this stage is incredibly long and it's not much easier. So this would be my recommendation for this stage, honestly, is to just do this trick. I won't do the lag reduction because I'm still not as comfortable doing this strat with lag reduction. There we go. So you jump across from there to here. Now we're on the stage boundary and we're going to do what's called an up warp. So an up warp allows you... In fact, I might do the I might show you the other method after we've done this stage, actually. So when you get to this wall, what you essentially want to do is jump out from the platform we're on, and then before you hit the wall, start turning back towards the wall. So you want to, if you imagine that the wall is like, the platform we're on is like this, and the wall is at the top of the screen, we want to hit the wall at about this angle, coming in this way. And what this will do is it will send Inferno right to the top of that surface, and that will let you get up into the boss area. So you go like that. There we go. Easy peasy. And now for the boss. I mentioned that you can shoot as fast as you can mash. So you literally just start mashing. You can hold down L2 here because when he tries to melee you, he'll kill you in one hit. But if you don't let him, like hit you, then he can't kill you, obviously. So strafing just means he will never hit you with a melee. So you just hold L2 to strafe. Use your other hand to mash square. Easy peasy. I'm not going to save the game here, because what I'm actually going to do is redo that stage, and I'm going to show you the alternative without doing that up warp skip, because that is one of the harder skips in the game, I'd say. I probably take it for granted how consistently I can do it at this point, because it is quite a difficult one. I'll do the corner jumps, and then I'll show you the alternative strat that we used to do in this stage. The alternative strat is not much easier. I am just going to highlight that. It is still a difficult strategy. So you need to do these corner jumps first. These corner jumps are time consuming, but I'd honestly recommend learning them because they are very handy. Come on, Inferno. You can tell I'm out of practice with these. Corner jumps are like some of the more inconsistent tricks in the game as it is, and that's another reason why I like doing urban before doing desert, is because desert doesn't have these. The tricks in desert are consistent, they're just hard, whereas these are like borderline random. I like to get these done and out of the way as soon as possible. So here we're going to stop because we want that platform to come back to us. So while we're waiting for that, we're going to transform and just kill all the enemies that are slowly congregating on our position to get rid of them. There we go, we've got them. They're all dead. And when this gets hit, you have enough jump height to just jump up on it. And I will usually stay on here in robot mode and shoot down the ships that are appearing as we move. And you can transform as you hit the button there. So that button opens that door. And what we're going to do now is head down the side here, and we're going to jump up on top of this. And we should be able to go... Oh, yes, got there. Please let me on. Thank you. Cool. Right. I'm going to clear the enemies out because there's a lot of them, and I would like to have as many opportunities to show you this next trick as possible. So this next trick is very difficult. We'll just wait here for these guys. So enemies will climb up any surface to get to you in this game. They do not care about gravity so much. Okay, so we want to get around this barrier. And we're going to use quick turn to do it. So quick turning means that we can do something like that, basically. You jump and then quick turn and turn around the wall. If you can't do it, that's fine, because if you down there to the right, like where I'm looking right now, there's a maze. If you go over to that maze, you can just find the button to open this gate. It's very slow at that point, but that's the normal route through the stage, would be to go down that way, enter the maze, press the button. Or is it? No, it's not even a maze down there. It's just a path around the side. Sorry, it's not even a maze. Ignore me. It's been ages since I've done this. Anyway, that's how it looks when you get it correctly. So, quick turn and jump around. Now, there's a lot of lag here. Unfortunately, lag reduction doesn't do a huge amount to stop it. It is still going to lag. Yeah, it's getting real sticky through this section. Hooey. And now we're at the boss arena, the intended route. Well, borderline intended. Oh no, he killed me. Wow, okay, that's fun. So I transformed too late there. I'm just going to do the glitch route to get through there now. Or I might have a save file on the other side. I'll check.
Start mission. Start mission.
Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter that I got killed. We should have a save file. Do you have an after energy source? Oh, we don't have an after energy source. That's very annoying. Okay, I'll just have to do the stage the full way now. Well, that's annoying. Oh well, I'll just do it the glitch way. So yeah, that's what happens if he grabs you. You get meleeed to death. Don't want that. Yeah, as mentioned, it's a one-shot. So that's how that's supposed to look. I normally put the camera down here for lag reduction purposes. Jump about there to go over the barrier. And then from here we go... What? Just like that. So that's the kind of movement you want. Now we're on the stage barrier. I should do the intended routes first, really, because they're the ones that are more likely to mess up. Ah, not a good enough angle. That's fine. We just have to walk around and try again. Oh, this is all going so horribly wrong. Of all the stages I thought would go wrong for me, I did not think it would be energy source. If that happens to you, if you're like going for like PB or whatever, I'd normally reset the run there. But if that does happen to you, you can just walk back around where I'm going and just try again. It won't kill you in one hit from falling from that height, so it's not too bad. I should say as well, with my like PB, I don't save between any of the stages because I'm going for maximum speed, but I would highly recommend anyone new to the game to save between every stage, because this game has permadeath. If your character dies, you can't play it again unless you load a save file. And Inferno, as you mentioned, is the only viable choice, so... Trying to line up on here. That's better. The reason why I failed the first time was because I wasn't angled enough. I was too head-on with the wall. You need to be at a sharper angle towards the platform that you start on. Oh, my mashing is very out of practice. There we go. That's kind of that's the glitch route. So, the next stage, Heart of the City. This is one of the only stages where a strat that I found is still in the run. So this is one of my favorite stages. We're going to be doing a new piece of tech here that you actually already know how to do, but it's more important here. So we're going to hold down triangle to buffer our transformation. This is to do what's called a quick transform in this stage. So as you can see, I've just transformed while the screen is panning around in this little cutscene. You can't normally do that. Normally it makes you wait before you get any inputs, but there's one frame where you can input. So if you just hold triangle as the loading screen finishes, it'll happen every time. It's very easy. Now, this is a very vertical stage. The idea is you start at the top and work your way down slowly. But if you jump the way that I jump now, you can hook yourself round, land on the wall, slide down the wall, and end up at the end of the stage. Like that. Easy peasy. So that's the end of the stage in front of us. You drop down in there and we're going to fight Rhinox. So with Rhinox, there are two options for how you can fight him. I'll do the easy version first to show you the safe way of doing it, and then I will go back and I will show you the difficult way of doing it. Did I save my game after energy source? I hope I did. I'll do the safe way, but the difficult way essentially is you just turn around and shoot him. But if you are worried about taking damage from him at all, then you can do this safe strat. The safe strat would involve going in this teleporter. The teleporter allows you... So what I would do, if I'm doing the YOLO strat, I would... I'm just going to hope I made a safe file. We'll do the safe strat anyway. So you jump down whilst to beast mode, then you jump into this and transform as you land on it, because you can transform during the teleportation. And then this puts you on top of a moving platform. Move to the edge of it, and you can shoot him from up here. The reason why this is the safe strat is because it automatically moves you from left to right, which means that he can't hit you with his rockets. And there's health up here, so you can recover from the fall as well. So that's the super safe version of this level, basically. It's not that much slower, but it's very safe.
Start.
Let's see what my save was. If it says energy source, yeah, it's fine. We can go back and show you the more challenging version.
Start.
Another quick transform. So doing this stage flowingly, it would look like this. So if you're doing the difficult way, you transform here as you fall down. Turn around with a quick turn. And then start trying to burst him down. If you see him rocket, you start strafing, because that will just make the rockets miss. And you just burst him down really quickly. That's the risky version. It's risky because if you take fall damage, you can see my health is very low, and one rocket will kill you. So that's a harder version, but it's faster, quite a bit faster. So that's everything for the urban levels. Now we're going to move on to polluted. Now, I will show you the glitch version of this stage. There is no easy answer to this stage, though. The glitched version and the glitchless version are both very difficult because the glitchless version of this stage is horrific. So we'll do the glitched version first, and then I'll show you the glitchless version afterwards. Actually, I'll show you glitchless first. Either way, with both versions, I don't transform at the start. I run forwards onto this platform, and then I shoot down these turrets. Then I transform, and what I want to do is jump over onto that platform as soon as I can, which is usually when the angle of this changes like that. When it starts dropping sooner, that's when you can go down. You jump down here, jump into the teleporter, transform as you go, and there are 3 scorpions in here. You have to kill all of them, because this is what will open the door to the next area. So you kill them and transform. Now, important to mention, in the polluted and the volcanic biomes, you lose tons of energon all the time. So it's important to be in be in beast mode as much as possible. You can see I've only been robot mode for a short period of time, and I'm halfway through my energon bar. When your energon runs out, you will slowly lose health, so you don't want to do that. So kill those 3. Now we go here. Now this is somewhat of a sequence break that we're going to do here. The game wants us to go around to the left, but you can just jump this gap here instead. And then instead of going through all of the platforming it wants us to do, we can drop into this trench. It wants you to go into this trench via a teleporter, but you can just drop into it from there and it's much faster. So that opens the gate. And we use the teleporter over here to exit the trench. Quick turn to the right just to face the right direction when you come out. And we're on our way. Now coming up is why the glitchless version of this stage is still really, really difficult. There is a massive bottomless pit. If you fall down it at any point, you will die. You will lose Inferno, you will lose your run. You don't want to do that, and it's halfway through the stage, so it loses a lot of time to keep trying this over and over again. So it is here. Now you can point the camera down like this to make it easier, but it's still really difficult. Now there's another jump here, and again you fail any of these jumps, and that's it. And then there's this bit where it's very deceptive. Essentially, the edge of this is like going to slide you down. So what you want to do is run at it and jump as you reach the end of it, but your speed will change towards the end, so you have to be ready to time it with that in mind. Otherwise, you'll jump too short and you will fall straight down into the pit. Once you've done that, you hug the right-hand side, you drop down. This path here is what you want to take. Keep hugging the outside of the stage. But yeah, I jumped to pretty much the last opportunity that I could with that bottomless pit, and I still only just made it. I have no idea how they expected characters that aren't called Inferno to get through there. We want to go up here. Come on, game. I'm trying to be too speedy. These are the Scricks, by the way. These big guys, they're the big Scricks. There are also the little worms that are all over the place. Those are the little Scricks. So the big Scricks will kill you in one hit with a melee, so you don't want to be too close to them particularly long. Now we do one last jump over here. And this is where we unlock our unlockable character for the Predacon side. Her name's Black Arachnia. She's really cool in the TV show, but she sucks in this game, so we're not going to be using. There she is. So that was the semi-intended way of playing it. It's still horrible. I would personally rather... save my game. If I was doing a no reset, if I'm doing a no reset, I save my game before every stage anyway, right? But if I'm doing a no reset, I would rather save my game before Stasis Pod and try the glitch repeatedly. So it's the same setup. Or try the out of bounds. It's not a glitch, I suppose. Same setup. So you kill the turrets and then transform. Then you wait till the trajectory of the platform changes. So now we jump forwards, and now you jump over to the right instead. So from this position, it's kind of awkward. You want to get here, and what we want to do is jump over to the wall and hold right at a certain point so that we can hit the wall and then jump immediately, and you should kind of like jump off of it in the right angle like this. Like that. So that's what you want to do. Then from this position, you jump up like a corner jump, and you make it to here. And now this is the most obnoxious corner jump in the game. This is borderline random if you'll get it, and I just got it first try. So that's kind of exciting, to be honest. Now, what you see me doing on these movements, you just kind of have to watch and mimic yourself. What you want to do is jump onto these platforms and then quick turn, because when you're on these platforms, they'll try and slide you off. So if you quick turn... Oh, I'm going to fall right off. Okay, that's bad. If you jump on here and quick turn to the right, then you can look upwards and cancel out the momentum taking you downwards. And then from there, you can jump up like a spider jumping up the side of a bath. Now we're on the edge of the stage. You can hold left the whole way through here. The game will not let you walk off of that invisible edge. There's an invisible wall there. So you get to this position, and then you climb over here. Once we've done that, we can go over here, and we are now at Black Arachnia's stasis pod again. So that is a much faster way of doing the stage, but I cannot stress enough that corner jump that I just caught first try. It is incredibly inconsistent, and sometimes you will be there for 5 minutes, like banging your head against a wall. Stick with it and you'll get it, but it's very, very frustrating. You can get somewhat consistent at it, but it's still really hard. So that's Stasis Pod, probably one of the hardest stages in the game. Now, Wasteland is significantly easier, but there's a lot of out of bounds. I'm not going to show you the intended way for this stage because I honestly think it is not worth your time. The out of bounds in this stage is not too difficult. Now, at the start of the stage, we're not transforming. We have to leave this area by killing these 3 ships. Now, to kill these 3 ships, what I do is I strafe with L2, I hold right to reposition my camera, and I spam attack. Okay, just about got them. Because I paused at the start, it messed up the timing for it. So, there's 2 ways you can do this. I'm going to show you the glitch way first, and then the intended way afterwards. So this wall climb is not too easy, but not too hard either. You get as many shots at it as you want, but there is an intended way to do this strat as well that will basically save... Like, it'll only lose a little bit of time, but I think it's... I would always go for the glitch, personally. So, you climb up onto this wall, and you can see where the polygons are. There's kind of like a diamond, like where 2 polygons meet. We're going to go up above that to here. And then what you kind of want to do is get a nice amount of height, turn to the right, jump, and as you hit the wall, turn to the left to face up it again like this. And then from this position, you can jump like that. And then that will take you over this wall here. From this position, I usually start lag reducing, so I'll bring the camera down. And I will have lag reduction throughout this whole section because it's very, very laggy normally. Still lagging. Wow, nice. we're going to head all the way up here. And then once the floor starts getting darker up this section, so here I will reset the camera by pressing the camera shift button again. It's L1, by the way, to shift the camera. And from here, I will try and get... Okay, I'm in a bad position here. That wall will never let you climb up it. So up here, you just kind of have to follow my platforming. Jump onto there, jump over this wall, land on this green thing, jump against this wall because you can jump up it, and we can get to here. Now, when you're in this position, you want to jump over there. If you mess up, don't worry, you can fix it. So over there is the void. Again, there's an invisible wall, so you can't walk out of the stage. So if you fall down here, you might think, oh no, I'm stuck. And then you'll see that you can slowly climb this wall, and you'll realize that actually you can just go straight back to where you should be. So don't get too scared if you end up stuck in there. There are options for how to get out. Just take a deep breath and don't panic, or you'll end up jumping against walls that you can't climb. So what you want to do then is get up into this position, jump and go to the left, and land on top of this wall. If you land too far to the right, you'll get stuck in a crawl space and have to reset. So you definitely want to get that jump. Now down here below us is the boss. We want to kill him. This is another boss that will one-shot you with a melee, but his arena is not big enough to allow you to strafe effectively, which means that doing it this way is significantly safer than going the intended route and trying to fight him there. The intended route's also very long-winded. You lose a lot of time not doing that strat that I did at the end there. Now, we can skip the first wall climb. I'm not going to save, I must remember, because we're going to go back in. If you want to omit the first wall climb, because it's kind of tricky, then what I would recommend doing is this. Also, I can show you the proper spaceship kills at the start as well. There we go. That's what it looks like normally when you kill the spaceships. So instead of going over to the left to do the trick, what you do is you go straight down here. This is also slightly more dangerous because there are two large Skrix enemies that you have to worry about. One of them will kind of appear but never get too close to us. The other one will be right in front of our view and we have to run past him. So there he is. We don't want to deal with him, so you go very wide here to avoid the Skrix. If he shoots at you, that's good, because that means he has to stop in place to do it. We press this button, which will open this barrier. And then we start trying to leave. Also, the terrain here is really hard to traverse, so it's very easy to get stuck and get meleeed by the Skrix. But this is the intended route for this stage. So basically, all of what we've just done skips the wall climb. Now, what you can do is go forwards until you reach the position where I did the wall climb with the other strat, but there is another spot you can wall climb from instead that we will use for the purpose of this demonstration because it is slightly faster. So what you can do instead is come down here and jump up on this bit of the wall. And I haven't done this in a while, but essentially you get to this position, you jump through here, and then down there to the left is where the other wall climb is. So we're now back in this position. You can climb up here. What I'm doing a lot of the time, if you see me doing like stuff like this, by the way, or stuff like this climb that I just did, is I'm just holding forwards so that I don't fall down the wall, and then pressing jump in the right timing to climb up the wall. Basically, that's what I'm doing. So now we jump up here. Again, you don't want to fall down to the left because that will just trap you and you will have to reset. And then we're back at the boss position again. And yeah, the bosses are very, very unforgiving in this game, MJ, absolutely. I mean, when I ran this at GDQ, not at Frame Fatales, but at AGDQ this year, this boss still killed me with his rockets. He just RNG'd into firing 3 rockets at me all in a row, and they just completely burst me down and killed me. So the bosses, even when they can't... Hi, Zande, thank you. I nominated this for potential game of the month on Frame Fatales, which is when everyone plays and learns the same game. So I'm making an instructional video on the off chance it gets accepted. Way up there, yep, he can kill you, but he can fire rockets up there, and the rockets will kill you. So you have to be careful. So Polluted 3, kill Dinobot. There is only one way to do this stage.
Inferno.
This is another stage where quick transforming is super important because it will happen during another cutscene, as you can see. So, this stage is Bert and Ernie. Bert and Ernie are 2 Skrix. This one is Ernie. Ernie will just one-shot you. You have to jump around him like this. Sometimes he'll just kill you. There's nothing you can do, basically. There's Bert. He's less dangerous. Sometimes he'll like climb the wall after you head up here and just really, really scare you. My movement's so bad on this stage. Yeah, there he is. Look, he's coming up after us. And quick turning to make these turns like easier as well. Or faster, rather. Okay, so when you jump in here, transform. And then hold left a little bit to face Dinobot, and then just start bursting him down. Dinobot is not threatening. And that is the whole stage. So that's all the polluted stage is done. Hooray. There's no other tricks to that stage. There's no other like route or intended route or anything that we're going to be doing. That is 100% how I would recommend doing that stage.
Start. Start furnace.
Sure, you get another quick select. So this is Final Confrontation. This is the first volcanic stage. For this stage, I don't transform at the start. Instead, what I do is I run forwards because there are 3 enemies you have to kill. And they're spaced out in a way that I think if you transform, then move to one, then transform, then kill it, then transform, then move to the next one, then like it's a lot of transforms. And I think overall it works out being roughly the same speed and efficiency to just be robot form and kill them as you get around. Especially these two, because you can kill this one before it starts moving as it gets on screen. And then you transform. Cool. Now we've gained the ability to leave this area. And there can lag in this section, so I normally lag reduce here. There are 2 robots. You have to be very careful of their positioning because they will knock the floor and do that and make it very hard to jump. And now we have these platforms. These platforms are horrible. These platforms will ruin your life. They will lower down as well if you stand on them too long, so you have to make those jumps quite quickly. So now, because we're waiting for platforms to come back up to be standable on, I'm just going to transform and kill that gorilla because you don't want to deal with that thing if you can help it. I'll aim the camera down as well because it helps with lag again, but it also lets you time where your jumps are. So that one you saw coming up, this is the cycle we were waiting for basically. Now we can go again. I think the other gorilla might still be there, but we'll see what happens. So now we're heading straight back out after pressing that button, and we can end the lag reduction here. Jump our way up here. Be very careful around this edge because otherwise you'll fall back down to the start. Also high T your Stimkey too. This is very informal. I'm still responding. So here is probably the easiest trick in the game. So first of all, this big red patch of the floor, this is lava and it will hurt you. Don't stand on it, okay? It looks like it's just aesthetic. It's not. It will kill you. So avoid standing on it. But you see that ridge up there to the right? That is very easy to jump on. So all you need to do is get into this position and jump, and you will land on top of it. And then you can slide your way down here. So we're out of bounds, right? But everything you see over to the left is upwarpable terrain. So I mentioned at certain angles you can upwarp. We did it in Energy Source. In this stage, all of this can be upwarped from. So what we're going to do is get to this position. I'm going to start lag reduction here, jump into this wall, and we upwarp to here. So this is the end of the stage now. This is absolutely what you should be doing. And then here there's a small cut you can do to clear this corner. If not, just walk around normally. And then there's the last enemy. He's a flaming Scrix, and he's dead. Very easy boss fight. The intended route for that stage is absurdly long. Do not do it. It is very long, very difficult. Just do the glitch version. Trust me, it is way better. Same with this stage. So this stage is Final Confrontation. And Final Confrontation is a stage that you do not want to do the intended route for. Trust me, this was why there was no speedrun of this game for such a long time, because I could never finish a run through here. So what you do, you transform immediately and jump up to this platform, and then get into this position here in the corner. And then we want to jump around this and land on this platform here. Now, you don't have to do that. What you can do instead is do some of the platforming with these things over here. In fact, I might try and show you that. Can I jump back? I can. Cool. So there's a really cool strat where you jump from here as the platform is about to raise, and land on top of it as it's rising, like that. You can do that, or you can just take the normal platforming. Either way, once you've done this, you spawn in these 3 ships, and although you don't need to kill them to progress, I will still kill them because they are so annoying. They lag the game a lot, and they will shoot you and cause explosions and make the next bit very, very difficult. So over there is the normal area you're supposed to go through for the rest of the stage. We're not going over there. Trust me, you don't want to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to jump at this wall and then just keep jumping and holding forwards until we get up to the top, okay? Then you do this, you get into this position, and you kind of slide yourself up here. Now we're out of bounds. Up here is my favorite thing in the whole game. It's the boulder. This is the Indiana Jones boulder. It's supposed to chase you down a road. But basically, because it chases you and one-shots you if it hits you, if you hit it while it's up here, you still die. So don't touch it. You have to get real close to be able to get up here, though. So you want to go up to that section and not touch the boulder, basically, and make your way over here. When you're over here, if you hold right and jump here, you can up-warp into the void. Just keep holding right and eventually it'll work. And now we have Air Razor. Air Razor is the Maximal's flying character. She is very, very difficult to hit, and she's one of the reasons why Scorponok is not a viable character for this run, because his attack has a travel time to it, and she will dodge all of them. Whereas Inferno has a instant hit scan attack, basically. It just immediately hits her, which means that you can do way, way more consistent damage to her. So that was kind of an example of how to handle the first bit, and then the glitched ending. You have to do the glitch there. Just don't do intended. Trust me. Intended strats, not good on that stage. You'd never want to do that. Now we're back around to Desert. Hooray.
Inferno.
Desert, seemingly easier stages. In practice, there's some difficult things you have to do, but I will go through them now. This is a stage that is incredibly long if you don't do the skip, so always do the skip here. It's very easy. So what you do is you just kind of follow my route here, but essentially there's some, you can see these seams between the polygons. You just jump against them, and eventually you will get yourself up the wall. So just like this, and then in this position you jump over to the right and you can climb over the wall. There we go. And I start lag reducing here. We've skipped a ton of walking. This stage without that skip is incredibly long. It's very easy. I would recommend people learn it. Now he's progressing around here. I'm doing all this with the camera face down because it reduces lag. But I'll put it face up for this bit so you can see what we're going to do. So up here, we have this destructible wall. Normally, you would need to go and collect the red upgrade, the red chip upgrade, which empowers your basic attack and lets it break down the walls. We're not going to do that because there's only 2 of these walls we ever encounter in the speedrun, and you can skip both of them. So this one, what we're going to do is wedge ourselves into the corner until Inferno's in the correct position, and then hold forwards, and Inferno will kind of strafe and slide up the wall, and then that will allow us to skip it. So you get into the corner here, find the right angle, and there we go. Straight over there. Easy peasy. Again, you don't want to do that intended because the red chip is halfway through the stage the intended way, and you don't want to be doing it the intended way. And here's the boss. Now, this boss is a bit different to all the others that we've been dealing with because the other ones we're just mashing basic attack. There is an extra attack in this game called the homing attack, and this boss's hitbox is super weird. The basic attack will really struggle to hit the boss, but the homing attack will hit it every time. So just because of that, it is way more consistent to use the homing attack on this boss, basically, which is why we do it. You hold down attack until that lock-on thing happens, and then you can shoot it. So it has a couple of weird hitboxes on its arms to start with. Once you've cleared them, you can hit the body. And then I'm using quick turn here to turn around and face him more to deal more damage. But so long as you don't die and you deal enough damage to him eventually, it'll be fine. So there we go. He's now dead. He's doing his death animation. Cool. That's the only way to do that stage. Again, intentional strats on that stage are incredibly slow.
Start control.
So Mining Machine. This is either the easiest or the hardest stage in the game, depending on how you approach it. I'm going to show you the easy stage first. In fact, no, I'll show you the hard version first, and then I'll go back and show you the backups afterwards. So transform at the start, obviously, and we're going to do a bit of walking to start with. Now, there are 2 very difficult jumps that save very small amounts of time. The first one saves less than the second one. The first one is largely a swag strat. It probably saves like 5 seconds. The second one saves about 10 to 15. But the second one is also more difficult. Yeah, the death animation MJ is like, he's just running around in circles like, ah, I am dying. So let's see, I might fail this a few times because it's very difficult. So the first one is jumping straight across from this rock to the next one, like this. Okay, I got it first try, let's go. So that jump is surprisingly tight. It doesn't look impressive, but it's hard. And now there's this one. So what you want to do is you want to jump around this building, but the building has an invisible wall that extends from it to stop you from jumping around it. You have to also jump around that invisible wall. So what I tend to do is get into this position here. And then... There we go, just like that. That was probably the tightest angle that I could have had. You can go a little wider, but then you have to pick up that item I picked up just there. That's a mine. We need that to blow up the mining machine, basically. Here's the other rock wall. What you do is you jump into this corner, jump up onto here, and then you can just slip through. And then we have a very easy corner jump here to get on top of the mining machine. If you don't want to do this corner jump, I mean, you should, it's easy. But if you don't want to do it, you can go up on that platform and jump onto the mining machine the intended way, which is going on that ridge and jumping down. Then you just want to reduce some lag because it will make this mine blow up faster. And it's better to actually point the camera upwards here. I forgot to mention, sorry. Don't look down, look up. Upwards is how you want to lag reduce there. There's a few situations where up is better than down for lag reduction, but it's very difficult to implement because more often than not, you are not, like, it's easier to hold, so it's easier to aim the camera down while moving forwards because you hold L1 and down to point the camera, L1 and up to point the camera downwards. It's like inverted controls. Whereas you have to hold down to point it upwards. So I can like lag reduce very naturally by jumping whilst holding forwards and then holding L1 in midair, and that will bring it down. Doing that with up is very awkward, basically. And it's very rarely helpful, and it's way harder to move. Just all in all, down is like the play. You kind of want to do that. So I will now show you an easier way of doing this stage. Because again, this is near the end of the run. It's very difficult. So instead of doing the first jump that I mentioned, we will take the intended route there instead. All it does is add 2 more platforms. So you just have to jump to some platforms instead of going straight across. So instead of going straight across there, we would jump across here, and then across here, and then across here. Slightly slower, but there you go. Now here, I will aim the camera up and I will transform, because it's going to spawn in 3 ships. The intended way for this is to blow up these ships, and they will blow up the building. So we look up. We shoot down the ships, we make sure their health's all gone. They do their little death loops over here, and then they will blow up these buildings. And there we go, this clears the path. So it's slower than the jump I did, but it makes it significantly easier. This goes from like a major endgame reset point to absolutely free. So if you're new to the game, I highly recommend doing that instead of mining machine jump. It's really, really horrible. Then we do the same thing here again. You can go get the red chip if you want, but it's really slow, and that's not a difficult jump that I just did, so I would highly recommend just doing that jump. And then let's get the proper lag reduction. There we go. Hi, Happy Bear. Yeah, this is a perfect game. I've been teaching MJ how to play it. So there you go. That's Mining Machine. Up next is Cheetor's base. There's only really 2 ways of doing it. But one of them isn't significantly different from the other. I can go over both of them in one playthrough because I'll just tell you where you go. You can see where you're supposed to walk. So I'm not gonna like do the stage through twice, basically, because it's bedtime for me, you know? I still can't believe you bought a copy of this, MJ. And Metroid Prime just had one as well. So here, what you're supposed to do is walk straight down that path, take a right, and then it will take you to the big Energon pit with all the platforms you have to jump across. We're going to skip some of those platforms. So basically, all you're missing is walking to the end of this path and turning right to enter the platform field. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to jump at the wall from here, and then do some little bump jumps up here to get to this part. So that skips going like one pass through of the platforms, basically. Oh, and lag reduce here as well. Lag reduction is big here. This saves a lot of time. But yeah, if you look over there, you basically jump from that position and jump on those platforms around to this position, and then head over that way to get the button. So that's all that you missed there. But yeah, lag reduction is key here. This is really, really effective. Now, this isn't the end of the stage. This just enters a sub-area where Cheetor happens to be. Cheetor is tiny. The strat for him is to basically walk forwards whilst mashing, and then hold left a bit to aim as he goes around that pillar, and then hold right to get him as he comes out the other side. You can nearly one-cycle him. I'm sure if my mashing was slightly better, I could, but it's like really close. I've gotten like 1 hit away sometimes. But yeah, he dies very quickly. They all have the same stats that they would normally have from the like maximal campaign where you play as them, which means Cheetor has very, very low hit points. We're on to the final stage. This is the Axelon. I will show you 2 routes through the Axelon. I'll do actually, it's really hard to show you 2 routes through here. So I'm going to jump over some electric barriers. If you don't want to do the barrier jumps, then what you do is you go to the left and fight some enemies. Then you go to the right and fight some enemies, and then that will get rid of the barriers. But I would honestly recommend just doing the barrier jumps. They're not difficult. They're really, really easy. You just jump at the wall where the barrier is and keep jumping, and you'll clear it. And you do the same thing here as well. Then you get up on this wall. I'm going to do some lag reduction here. But then I'm going to end the lag reduction because here's another skip. So what we're going to do is get into this position, jump, and then quick turn. And then that lets you skip that barrier there. It's very laggy, so it's hard to time it. But yeah, that skips a lot of walking around as well. Again, I really recommend doing that. Go through these, and we're now into the second sub area. Now, this sub area has a difficult jump at the start. If you don't get it, you have to kind of Tom and Jerry your way through it, and I'll explain what I mean in a minute. So if you jump around this corner, you can land up on here, right? If you don't make it up here, what you end up doing is falling down into this sludge, and what you have to do is just jump against the wall and get under that electric barrier without the sludge killing you. It's doable, it's not too bad, but it looks very funny and it's very scary. The other alternative is you just wait for these platforms to move, so that's where we started. You land on that platform there. You go to this position down here. There's a button just below us that you can see there. You press that, and you get on that platform, and it'll carry you over to there. So that's the intended route for that section. Now we are going to fight the boss. So the intended thing for the boss is... I don't know if you see there, but there's a teleporter. So what it wants you to do is go into the teleporter, press a button, and that will bring down this electric shield, and that'll allow us to hit the boss. However, what we do instead is stand here, aim the camera up, and if you're close enough, you can shoot through the shield. Absolutely very easy trick. And now Optimus spawns in. Optimus is the last Maximal, he's Optimus Primal, and you just burst him down. Easy peasy every time. And that's the run. That's where time would be. Then you get treated to the best cutscene in video game history.
Victory!
Victory?
Yes!
Yes. Gas King. Isn't it beautiful?
Victory! Yes!
Sounds like my disc is skipping. The cutscene might crash.
With the energon wealth of this planet, I will destroy Cybertron.
The Maximal one's even funnier, if you believe that, but I've only ever seen it once. I don't play Maximals as a rule. I'll leave that for Xando. So yeah, that was Beast Wars. I will mention as well, obviously, I'm playing this on a PS2. And I'm playing it on a 90K just because it's the best loads that you're going to get with fast disk speed. But any PS2, PS1, or PS2 or PS1 is like a valid way to run the game. There's a Windows 95 version of this game. So far, Rathin's just about gotten it working in a virtual machine, and it was horrible. So probably best to run the PlayStation version over the PC version is the consensus we currently have at the moment. The other thing as well is if you do want to play this game on emulator, you have to be using Mednafen, DuckStation, or either of their respective cores in RetroArch. So either the DuckStation core or the Beetle core, I think it's called, in RetroArch for Mednafen. They're the only currently accepted emulators for this game on the board. We used to use PCSX2 Rearmed or something, but it's it removes all the lag. Basically, it's not an accurate representation of the game, so the rules were changed to only allow the more accurate emulators. So yeah, DuckStation, Mednafen, or either of their cores in RetroArch are the emulators that you want. If not, any PlayStation console will do. You'll lose time in loads, and they are somewhat significant, but just in terms of getting runs started, just being able to play the game is great. Also, I would highly recommend, because it's tank controls, that you have a way to input discrete directional buttons. So a PlayStation pad is perfect for this. When I ran on emulator, I had a DS4 that I used via PC. This is I think this is a DS1 or 2. Like, it's an old, it's a PS2 compatible DualShock basically, with the good buttons. I would not recommend playing this on any Xbox pad on PC. I would not recommend that at all. Their D-pads are horrific. Very difficult to press discrete directions on those. So you'll find, I did try playing on 360 pad at one point, and I was constantly turning left and right, and you cannot do most of the tricks in this game if that's happening. Alternatively, keyboard is a very viable way to play the game if you're playing on emulator. I used to play on Hitbox, which is like an arcade controller with buttons instead of a stick, because that has discrete buttons as well. Anything that lets you press forwards without risking pressing left and right is a fantastic controller for this game. So yeah, that's basically it. You can put in name ass. No, we won't do ass. We'll do AF because this run was good AF. There we go. AF. And we're back at the end. So yeah, hope that helps. If anyone wants to run the game, I'll probably put this on YouTube at some point. Not very professional, not very structured, but I thought it was cool. Yeah, thanks for watching.